Beatstar fam, how are we doing? I think we all know I have fallen way behind on Beatstar content, but I am finally back with a new set of tier lists. You'll have to forgive my dull, nasally voice for this one. I'm coming off a wicked cold and I am doing my best. As for tier lists, this list is current with all songs in Beatstar as of the time of this recording. I've also got something new here for you guys. I'm adding a 6-star row to these tier lists to better be able to separate out differences between the songs. It's important to note that the 6-star row is not just an extra row for the hardest of the songs in each difficulty level. This also allows extra space for the other songs to move up, so we'll be seeing a lot of things bump up. For anyone new to my tier lists, these are put together with real, actual data from my friends list statistics of many thousands of players, and I organize them into the list you see here. You can disagree with things all you want. These are not my opinions, but it's the closest thing I know how to get to some sort of real rating system. Anyways, let's take a peek at the modified lists. I had to split these into 2 images, one for the 1 to 3 stars and one for the 4 to 6. There are just too many songs in the game to keep making it work with one picture. 1 single star. We're looking at 26 songs here. You should recognize most of these because the majority were previously 1 stars and didn't budge. These songs are all easily the bottom dogs of Beatstar, and I don't think anyone can be too surprised with anything in this row. The middle is the closest of any of these songs to a 2-star, where I think it could also work, but it's a 1 for now. The most DP'd normal is Someone You Loved, followed very closely by Circles. You may notice that most of these songs are pretty ancient as far as Beatstar's lifespan goes, and I think that's mostly the result of a general power creep in song difficulty. I remember when Mood came out and everyone was freaking out because it has like 400 notes for a normal, and obviously there are plenty of normals much harder than that. If you're scoping out a candidate for your first DP, or just want to fill out your scoring profile a little bit more, I highly suggest going back and wrecking all of these. You really can't go wrong with anything in this row. 2 stars. Alright, 37 songs here, 7 of which moved up from the previous 1 star. These songs are also very easy, even for normals, and all work as great options for early DPs, nothing tricky, no real surprises. Probably plenty of stuff here that could be in your own personal 1-star row, that's definitely how it is for me, but the stats show that these are just a little more uncommon Diamond Perfects than the ones before. You start to see a couple of, air quotes, newer Beatstar songs here, but the row is still pretty dominated again by the older stuff. Not a lot to say with this row, so I'm just gonna go ahead and jump to the 3 stars! As usual, this row is absolutely massive. That is never going to change. We're at 91 songs here now. Sorry for making all the album arts like 3 by 3 pixels, but you can tell I didn't have a lot of space, so you're gonna have to squint on some of these. This row is still made up of the so-called middle-of-the-road normals, though these are the ones that are ever so slightly leaning towards the easier side. This is probably the point where half of you are like, dude, this guy's an idiot, there's no way song X is a 3. We're looking at like 100 songs here, people. You are not gonna agree with everything. One thing I do think you can agree with here, though, is that none of the songs in this row, same as the upcoming 4-star row, are the easiest or the hardest of normals. The 3-star row is like one of your high school classes at the end of the year. You've got the weird kid in the corner, like House of Jealous Lovers, few kids you never learn their names, like Exploding Heads or whatever the hell that song's called, and your ultra mega popular kids like Unholy. Even if they're all different in very obvious ways, they all just kind of fit together, and you're used to them being just how normal charts are these days. These are your good old bread and butter charts where you learn what a 16th note is, get your first tastes of drift in extremely questionable charting decisions. Heck, maybe you even got your first girl or boyfriend in this class. Like, look how cute this dude is. Give me a break. 4 stars. Not quite as big as the 3-star row, but still a pretty big pain in the ass to get all these little squares lined up here. We've got 78 songs in the 4-star row. Similar to the 3-star row, these songs are just on the harder side of the middle line, usually involving some more complex rhythms or just absolute garbage you never ever want to play again. A sizable chunk of previous 3-stars moved up to this row, as well as some previous 4-stars moving up to the 5s. I think a fair assessment would be to say that none of these songs are easy DPs anymore, but they also aren't the absolute hardest the difficulty has to offer. 5 stars. Previously the highest honors of normal charts, we've got the top dogs of the school, beaten out by only a few terrible kids we'll talk about in a moment. A lot of people will be happy to see Roots Bloody Roots moved up here, as well as some other polarizing previous 4-stars like Issues, Goodies, Biscuit Town, and I'm Yours. Speaking of I'm Yours, does anyone know the backstory to this album art? Like, look at this face. Like, who drew this? Does Jason Mraz have kids who drew this for him? Or is there something I don't know about this? I just laugh every time I see it. Everyone's favorite song, Debaser, also reclaims its spot here, as well as Busy Earnin', being a newish addition to Beatstar. Everything here is definitively a difficult normal to DP in comparison to the hundreds of other songs. I think this is a pretty solid starting list of 5 stars in this new system. The new and exciting 6-star row brought to you by... And here we are, the final bosses. Only 6 songs ended up in this row, but they are all very clearly deserving of the spot. Going back to the high school analogy before, if La 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 is that boring kid you have to sit next to at lunch, then Jungle Drum is the 7-foot-tall violent psychopath you have to avoid eye contact with in the hallway. These songs are all very, very challenging for normals. You sweet summer children are just lucky you get to play Neko with these easier timing windows, instead of us old veterans who had to DP this crap after walking 20 miles in the snow to school in 2021. It was the good old days, I tell ya. We didn't know if we got a perfect or a perfect plus, and we liked it like that. Nah, actually we all hated it. It was really terrible. My personal vote for hardest normal to DP does also go to Neko, but I'm curious what you think is the toughest. Let me know down in the comments your vote for both the hardest and the easiest DPs out of all the normals. If you're wanting the high resolution images for these tier lists, I'm going to have them available for download in my Discord server. You can find the link for that in the video description. I'll also get the hard and extreme videos up here shortly. My server is just about to hit 1,000 users, so if you want a place to talk about Beatstar that isn't quite as gigantic and chaotic as the main Beatstar Discord server, check it out. I've already done the whole comment down below plug, but if you have any different Beatstar related video ideas you'd like to see me do, give me a shout down there and let me know. I'd like to get some more tutorial-esque videos up, maybe some general tips and tricks kind of things. We'll see. As always, a big shout out to my Patreon donors, especially with so long between the last few videos. I really appreciate you all and apologize for having such a busy spring. I am majorly feeling the YouTube itch come back, so let's see if I can get the wheels turning again. Fingers crossed. Much love, and until the next video, I will see you on the internet, and hopefully in my Discord server.